So you got a name, Phantom?
Call me Evil.
Welcome to Screams and Streams.
Oh, that was a great intro. Hey, you're in for a doozy today, listeners.
I can't even hear that and not start laughing.
Oh, man. I listened to that first section and was just, what is happening? That sounds so bad.
All right.
And we'll talk about that later.
We are the podcast that's taking a look at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Mike, and with me is my co-host,
Chad.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, check out our website, screamsandstreams.com, for more information about all the films we're looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like the spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today, we are looking at Emmett Alston's 1980 film, New Year's Evil. It scored 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's get into it. Chad, do you want to give us our plot summary?
Yeah, I got a couple here. So I'm going to start with the first one. I got these from the IMDb website. So during a New Year's Eve celebration, a Los Angeles disc jockey receives a phone call saying that when New Year's strikes in each time zone, someone will be murdered and she will be the last one. That's the first one. This one goes into a little bit more detail. It's more of a synopsis of the film. New Year's Eve is on its way, and TV's most famous punk rock lady icon, Diane Sullivan, is holding a late-hour countdown celebration of music and partying. All is going well until Diane receives a phone call from an odd-sounding stranger announcing on live television that when New Year's strikes in each time zone, a naughty girl will be murdered or punished. And the killer leaves a threat saying that she will be the one to die last. The studio crew takes precautions and heightens security, but on the other side of America, a hospital nurse is found brutally butchered. Who could be behind these murders? A crazed fan, a religious psychotic, or perhaps it's someone much closer to Diane than the police or audience could have ever expected.
I will admit, I did not see that twist coming.
Nor did I.
Yeah.
So good on you there.
Yeah.
But it
So stupid.
overall, I question the timeline of that, though.
Right.
We don't know how long those two were together. And she's talking about Derek, and he's talking that he's been around this boy a while. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just confused as to when they met, how long they were together for. It's just, we'll get into this. We
need the Hallmark movie of their relationship.
That's right. Yeah, I need the, well, I don't know about that.
I like Hallmark.
Your guilty pleasure?
Oh, I'm not guilty about it.
Not a big fan of the Hallmark movies.
I have a cozy hoodie. I have 2 coffee mugs.
Hot chocolate and marshmallows. Yeah.
My coffee mug says Hallmark Channel on, all my worries gone.
Oh, my Lord. Well, good for you.
I use it proudly at work every day. All right. Enough about Hallmark. Let's get into our... We're switching
Hallmark
focus.
has a lot of tropes. So
All right. We're going to now get into our first impressions, and I'm going to start off. This is my first viewing of the film. Never heard about it before. Knew nothing about it going in. Actually, no. I did read that it was about a new wave New Year's countdown, or new wave punk New Year's countdown. And so I was actually mildly excited to see music from 1979. I was thinking like Joy Division and stuff of that ilk.
oh,
So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. The music's going to be great. And I was
you must have been shocked.
shocked and immediately disappointed. It was like a bad Ferris Bueller's Day Off cover band, basically.
Oh,
Like,
my God. It was so bad.
Don't know how to describe it better. I wouldn't say I was bored out of my mind with this. It did enough to keep me engaged. It paced itself well, going from killing to killing. It was timed well. So at least there was that. And there was enough of a difference between each of the victims to, again, keep it at least somewhat engaging.
Yeah.
Like, what is he going to do this time? How is he going to do it this time? And then when the killer finally makes it to the show in LA, that's when I stopped enjoying the film, actually.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I enjoyed the sanitarium. I enjoyed the drive-in theater.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the tiki bar scene.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. Yeah.
But overall, I watched it. I was engaged. This isn't like the other bads where it's a roller coaster and I'll strap myself in and enjoy it. Like I couldn't find that enjoyment piece to get me through the whole film.
No, because they were trying to make a terrifying movie.
Yeah.
I think they were legitimately trying to make a scary film.
Right.
And maybe Squirm and those other ones were trying to be scary as well, but they just became more of a comic horror journey as opposed to, oh, I'm scared of this, right?
Yeah. I think that's what this is. This is like a 40% of the way there through the whole film where it's almost at a pass, but there's just something missing in every element.
Well, and there's enough stupid stuff in there that it just takes away from all the good stuff that actually the template for a horror slasher, but the negatives outweigh the positives for sure.
Yeah, the template is there, but they just don't use it right.
Right. Yeah.
What was your first impression?
Well, I also had not heard of this film and didn't know what to expect going in. So that was kind of fun. Is the fact that like the last couple of films we've watched over and over. Alien I'd seen many times. Psycho I had seen many times. Halloween I'd seen many times. So this was nice to kind of see a fresh horror film, but yeah, there was just too much stuff that I didn't enjoy. The acting was one. It was just so poorly acted.
Yeah.
I think even if they would have spent a little more time in their casting, they would have had if the actors were better, the movie would have been better.
Yeah. And I think in the hands of a better director maybe as well.
Yeah. Makeup way too overdone. I know it's the 80s, but it was just globbed on there. It reminded me of Homer Simpson's clown gun where he shoots Marge in the face and says, Homer, you had it sent to Hooker. It was just painted on.
Yeah.
Also, there were things just overdone. The playing with the switchblade, the joke with the comb switchblade, and that guy with the hair. The teenagers looked way older than teenagers and looked like the band The Misfits.
Right.
And Derek, the son, as soon as I saw him,
I've got notes on that.
Annoyed me. and I said, even as soon as he walked in and the mom was, just kind of ignoring him and he was giving her flowers or whatever, my first note was, this relationship is suspect. I wasn't sure what their relationship was, except she only cares about herself and what she's doing, obviously.
Right. And he's a little too Norman Bates.
Yes. A boy's best friend is his mother. Yeah. Overall, it is what it is. It was you hit the nail on the head when it just wasn't executed very well.
Okay. We're now going to get into our Tropes Hall of Shame. And Chad, why don't you start us off with a couple of yours?
Sure. My first one is the visible minority dies first.
Oh, that was mine too.
She's in 2.5 minutes of the film. She walks in with these horrible dreadlocks and is getting ready for the show because apparently she's the assistant or she's a producer of some kind or something. She's very close to Blaze or to Diane. And we see her getting ready and then she gets killed in the shower.
I don't understand that killing.
I don't either.
Like everything else is timed as an hour countdown towards New Year's, and there's a relation or a seeming relationship between the killer and the victim at some point in the history.
Seems to be a reason, right?
Yeah. Whereas this was just got a killer. Maybe she would have been too aware of what was going on.
Well, it is revealed in the end that she was kind of the keeper of Diane's money and would dole out an allowance to him.
I missed that.
Yeah. And so I always had to beg for every penny I got. And so he does kind of reveal why he killed her in the elevator. But at the start of the film, it really seems just kind of tacked on. Like, we want to set up that this is a slasher film.
Right. I missed the elevator line. What was another one of your tropes?
I had the portrayal of the insane in the madhouse.
Oh, that was hard to watch.
It was so poorly done.
Yeah.
And they just made everybody with a mental illness look just unhinged and running around like apes. And I know they were trying to show that the insane people and the people at the dance club were kind of similar.
Right.
Because when you watch them dance in the insane asylum and you watch the quote unquote kids dance.
Yeah. Or quote unquote punks.
Yes. dance at that party, it's very similar.
Right.
But they also have, you know, a person playing with toys and then a person jumping around and screaming, and they're putting hats on them and putting little, what are those party tricks that you blow in the horn? I don't know what they're called, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, you blow on them and it unfurls and then it blows the horn and comes back. I don't know what that's called.
No.
All right. Well, listeners, if you know what that is called, I'm not going to Google it because it's not worth my time.
No.
But if anybody wants to tell us what those things are called, these party tricks, then yeah, please go ahead. But that was mine. Their portrayal was just disgusting.
It made me long, or sort of never thought I would actually feel this way, but where's Nurse Ratched in that asylum? Get some control on them.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they're having a party. It's New Year's.
Right. Yeah.
But those nurses
don't care.
Oh, man. Sitting there smiling and then, okay, I'm going to go for a smoke. Like, just horrible.
Just horrible. My first trope is the unhip, overweight cop or security guard.
Oh.
At the very beginning. It's just like...
Oh, yeah, where he's like, where's your tickets? Your tickets, your tickets. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a nerd and a geek. And it's just like, of course he's overweight. Like, we need someone who's unhip. Like, let's get the fat guy. Yeah.
Well, I think maybe out of all of the cops in this show, two were not overweight. One looked like some guy that just went through a wind tunnel. Yeah. the hair all pulled back and the mustache and everything. I expected him to have bling on and be the stereotypical like, hey, what are you doing? It was just...
He's straight out of the hot tub into uniform.
Yeah, this is a good time. We're going to have a good time.
And my other trope was, and this is kind of necessary to the plot just because of the timeline, but, you know, sanitarium at night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously that's where the first murder or the second murder is, the first victim of his plan.
Right.
But it's like instantly it's like, oh, it's a sanitarium. It's nighttime. Something's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of your other ones?
My other one was the door scene at the beginning with the first kill. They kind of shake the doorknob and she looks out in the hallway and there's nobody there. And then he's inside the room, right? How many times?
Magically inside that room.
Yes, exactly. So all she does is look out, look left, look right. There's one guy walking away.
Yeah. She
doesn't leave the hotel room or the apartment at any point that he could have snuck in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that bothered me too.
It's shaking the door, the eerie music, and then, oh, nobody's there. Huh, must have been the wind? What the hell?
And he somehow gets inside the shower curtain.
In the shower curtain, yeah.
Behind.
Not in the shower curtain, which she just, because it was leaking, she tightened it up.
Right.
So we saw nobody there. And then the next time she goes to tighten it up again?
Yeah.
She puts her hand in there and then turns around and he's there. So that was my next one, yeah.
On the topic of the first kill, it's the trope of like a character is dead and the audience knows that. So the dramatic irony of like, where is she? She should be here by now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have a stern talking to that person. All right. Chad, what was another one of yours?
I also had everybody dies kind of in the same way. They get stabbed. But for the final death scene, there's this elaborate death scene. He has the knife. He can't just stab her. He's got to tie some chain around her neck, which doesn't make any sense because she's cuffed to the elevator. She's not tied with the chain.
Right.
So I was like, well, is the chain hanging her while she's being...
Yeah, I thought she was going to choke on the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it just dangles.
Yeah.
And she's handcuffed to the bottom of this elevator. Let me paint this picture. We're talking like you know what's happened here. If you haven't watched the film, Final Attack on Diane, the killer takes these handcuffs and ties her to the bottom of an elevator and then has hacked into the elevator system somehow.
Yeah. And all it takes is a screwdriver.
To make it go up and down super fast. Anyways, instead of just stabbing her and leaving her body for people to find, he has to tell us all why and then hook her up to the elevator.
It's the Austin Powers, like, elaborate plan explanation. It's like, aren't you going to just shoot them? It's like, no, I'm going to leave them there and assume it all goes according to plan.
But you could end it right now. Just shoot him. That's not how it's done, Scott.
This is very much one of those deaths and killing.
For sure, yeah.
My other one was the I'm not going to let them ruin this for me, right? The killer has phoned in and threatened death and is like, do we go on with the show? And Blaze is upset or Diane's upset. And then she's like, no, I'm not going to let them ruin this for me.
Yeah.
The show must go on. They established at the beginning that if this New Year's Eve countdown goes well, it's her big break. This is her opportunity.
Right. But she's already the number one disc jockey. Like, how much more fame can she attain here?
Morning talk show.
Yeah. Everybody knows her. They do talk about how her son got a role by not using her name. So she obviously has some cachet and some pull in the industry, but this is her big break. Okay.
That was another one of yours.
I had the nurses' uniforms.
Oh, ill-fitting too.
Yeah. Man, the stereotypical white hat with the cross on it and the
short skirt.
The short skirt, everyone in white, and it's very stereotypical.
But even
nurse outfit.
But the blonde woman that he like drinks champagne with and then murders.
Yeah.
When she walks into the back room, like her costume or uniform, I guess, is so ill-fitting.
Oh, yeah.
That it's like at the chest level is like split open because it's just not to her size. It's like too baggy. I don't know. Yeah. And I was like, did they do that on purpose for titillation or is it just like bad costuming? And I think it's just bad costuming.
I think so. Yeah. I think they had one size.
Yeah. And the two women shared it.
And two women had to share it. Yeah. And they're,
My last trope was punks don't like cops.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're going to listen to you, pig.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So there's been multiple threats of murder and violence, and everyone in the studio knows this. And the cop's like, all right, just to give you an announcement, boo. And like, there's one person doing like the V middle finger that English people do.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And they're like, fuck you, we're not listening.
Yeah. We're not going to listen to you. I just want to update you on what's happening. We are closing down. No, but I got a ticket. That one guy says it twice. Like they repeat that. I came from Houston and I have a ticket. I need to get in there. We're not letting anybody in. But I came from Houston. It's like, just shut up. Just, it was
so bad. Did you have any others?
I did have one more, and it's the constant showing of the knife before the kill.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They really milk this one. He draws it up. You see it up in the air and then comes down and stabs. The next time it comes up, it's got blood on it.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on. And every time he takes that knife out to kill somebody, they focus on it. Yeah. They do a really long shot on his knife.
Yeah, his switchblade. And he loves playing with it.
Oh, and he just flicks it in the mirror and stuff. But when he had that, I don't know, the one from the drive-in.
Oh,
he took that girl because he was in a rush. He needs to get this kill in. Takes that girl and he's just flicking the switchblade in the back seat. And I'm sorry, but you're driving and you're trying to take someone hostage. Having them in the back seat is by far the worst position.
Yeah, she just has to slide over and choke him out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to really hit you hard on the side of the head.
Yeah. All right, we're now going to move into our one-liners, and I'm going to get us started with this one. And the first one I had is when Diane is nervous about the show, and I hope it all goes well.
Yeah.
And her producer / agent, I don't know what you call him, is like, just drop a lewd and relax.
Yeah, no, I had that one too. Yeah.
One, Quaaludes, whatever happened to those? But also...
It was very well explained in Wolf of Wall Street.
But it just like it felt like a line written by someone that didn't know what Quaaludes are. And they're just like, I know the slang term is lewd. Drop a lewd and relax.
Yeah.
One of my other one-liners was when the killer is at the tiki bar and he's picking up the blonde woman and he's like, I always come well equipped. And she just looks at him, I bet you do. And you know they're going for like a tongue-in-cheek sexual reference, but there is absolutely no chemistry between those two characters.
No.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
What was one of your lines?
Well, mine, the first one was, we actually just heard it. Call me evil.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, what does she say? Like thief or something like that? And he has to repeat it. Yeah. He's like, no, evil. It's like, stop making fun of me. I am the bad man. I will not be bullied on the phone while I'm threatening you. It was so bad. And that voice thing was just horrible.
Yeah.
And it's long and drawn out. His speeches on the phone are just forever.
Yes.
So that was my next one.
And do you have another one?
I do. Well, I have a general comment that's like, all Blaze's jokes are just horrible.
Yeah.
But then also when the guy just comes out of, it's the second kill, I guess, in Insane Asylum. He comes out of this back room. Oh, they sent me from the agency. It reminds me of the Oban.
Right.
Yeah. They sent me from the agency to help out. Oh, we could use the help.
Yeah.
Really? Because they're all just partying in the side there. You've left one nurse in the room to hand out hats and party favors, and you've gone off to have a smoke, and this random guy shows up, and then they get some champagne, they go to a back room, and he starts playing music, and she says, oh, I just met you 10 minutes ago. And he says, does it matter? And she goes, no. And then they just go at it.
The late 70s, early 80s.
Yes. Yeah.
I had one more line. And he thinks he's picking up just the one blonde at the tiki bar.
Right.
And then they're leaving, and the friend comes along. She's like, you wouldn't expect me to go alone, would you? And he's just like, yeah, I guess not. Let's go. Let's get into my Mercedes.
Yeah.
And she just talks a mile a minute and doesn't stop.
Oh.
So you could just see the regret on his face. It's like, oh no. But she's going on and on about transcendental meditation and how helpful it was.
Yes. And then she throws in, and Katie's got diarrhea.
That's my line.
Yeah, oh my God, it was so good.
She says, I stopped biting my nails. Lisa got rid of her nervous diarrhea.
Yeah. Lisa.
Like, poor Lisa's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, why are you telling him all this stuff? Shut up. Oh my gosh. And then she mentions it again.
Yeah.
When they pull up to the liquor store, he says, go get me the most expensive bottle of champagne you can find.
Yeah.
And she takes a while and says, oh, she must have got her diarrhea back. What? Like, who thinks of that to write
So good.
in a horror movie? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all sexuality gone.
No. Oh, man. The last one that I have was the detective. At first, he's got two real zingers. When he comes in the first time, he says, oh, you people amaze me. You start a problem, and then you get surprised when it goes bad. So something to that effect. I didn't write it down entirely, but there's that one. And then when he sees her again, and it's more serious, he goes into explicit detail of how the woman was killed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, he took a knife and he slashed her breasts, and there was contusions on her throat, and blah, blah, and strangled her too, and all this stuff. And you would never tell someone who is being stalked and possibly in danger of being murdered all the details of the past victim.
Here's what might happen to you.
Yeah, so you should be careful because you're going to get this and this and this and this happening to you. So those were my two.
All right. And so on the providing the victim with all the details, let's continue with what doesn't hold up. And Chad, why don't you start us off?
My first one was Derek's acting.
Oh, nice.
It was awful.
Yeah.
When he's trying to, I don't know if those are lewds or he's trying to kill himself or what was going on with those pills.
I don't know, but he takes 3 as if that's going to do something.
I know, right? Like he takes 3 pills and chews them like a horse.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you look closely, when he is wiping his hands on his face and being mentally tormented or whatever he's doing there, he opens his mouth and you can see the pills in his mouth.
Right.
So it's so bad. There's a scene where he's cutting up this lace and he puts it on his face and you'll see me now. His scenes are throwaway scenes until the very end.
Yeah.
And you're just not sure what he's even doing there.
Yeah. I have a theory, but is it because he's a child of divorce and this is what happens? I don't know, but that's a weird way to portray like the effect of divorce on a child.
Well, and I know he's constantly seeking like his mom's approval.
Right.
But to be that twisted up about it, it just seems there was no context. It just didn't make any sense. And he acted so bad. It was just, I didn't buy anything he did.
No.
So, that was my first one.
Do you have another?
I do. The tiki bar, the killer's mustache.
Oh, it was great.
I thought that thing was going to start on fire when he started smoking.
Well, and you see him glue it on. So I thought there was going to be like a little like, oh, his mustache is slipping moment later.
Yeah, I thought they were going to work that in too. Yeah. But he comes out with the mustache on. I was like, what is that? Oh, my God. It's like a big rat on his lip. Yeah. So those were my first two.
All right. My first doesn't hold up is it does center around Derek, and it's the outfit that he's wearing. And maybe it's because I don't know what 1979 80 style is, but he's wearing a tux with tails top.
Yes.
And blue jeans above his belly button. Mm-hmm. Like they are high-waisted jeans. They're like light blue. And then he's got his sleeves rolled up above his elbow. Like,
yeah.
Just what is this outfit?
White shirt, black skinny tie. Yeah. He should have had the piano key necktie.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, we've talked about it a bit, but the killer's voice. And I just put like, it sounds like Lassard from Police Academy crossed with Dr. Evil.
Ah, that is a great analogy or reference. That, yeah, for sure.
Just, I'm like, I've heard this voice before. What is it? Oh my God, it's Lassard with a bit of Dr. Evil turned in. Especially call me evil.
One person will die every hour at midnight.
I was like, oh my God, just
that
shut up.
That was the voice. What's another one of your dozen holdups?
Well, I had the makeup.
For sure.
Thought it was just very poorly done. Even when they weren't supposed to be wearing makeup, the makeup was bad.
Yeah.
It really took me out of the film. And her punk makeup was just way too overdone.
Yeah.
And those punk kids that were driving in the convertible and laughing throughout the whole opening credit scene, their makeup was awful too. I don't know if people made their face that white and stuff when they were going out to those shows at that time, but it was bad.
Yeah, it was the stereotypical, like, what was punk of the 80s? This was it, and let's just make it extreme by people that have never been punks or seen a punk show or something. Yeah. Did you have another one?
I have the dancing. The dancing by the punk kids in the stage was awful. Even the slam dancing was bad.
Yeah.
I used to go into mosh pits when I was a kid and watching shows, and it was not that. They looked like zombies.
My favorite was when there was one of the bands does a slow song, and I forget what the song's called, but they're still semi slam dancing.
Yeah.
Like they're not really dancing. They're just like slowly bumping shoulders with each other.
Yeah. That's the one where they look like zombies. They're just kind of trotting along and hitting each other.
Yeah.
And when they hit each other, they go in a different direction.
They're like Roombas.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad.
My last doesn't hold up is at the very end when Derek is stealing the ambulance and driving out, but he's sitting in the driver's seat with the, I don't know, Nixon mask.
I think it's Nixon. Yeah.
And there's people 3 feet away from the ambulance. No one notices that the EMT in the front seat is wearing a weird mask or identifying the fact that, hey, there's a weird guy with a mask.
Yeah. Not just people. There's a cop holding people back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't notice anything.
No, but yeah.
Any kind of a struggle when this driver got killed?
Yeah.
No.
And did you have one more?
I did. So it's also in the dance part. It is at the beginning where Diane or Blaze comes out and she starts talking, and you see all these hands reaching up to try to touch her.
Oh.
But the guy and whoever the extra was with the cast on.
Okay.
It looks like he's trying to grab her breasts.
Oh.
He's trying to cop a feel. He's got both hands out and he's just
honka honka.
Honka honka. Yeah. He's just trying to grab. And then there's a person next to him that's doing the same thing. And so when I watched it, I was, what the hell are they doing? And I don't know. It just didn't. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's focusing on her. She's doing the whole intro to this show, and the whole time he's doing it.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow. It is just ridiculous. And he's got a cast.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Maybe he succeeded once and they broke his arm, but we still need an extra.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, we're now going to move into our most gratuitous, and I'm going to start us off. And I had a hard time finding something, and I went just with the shots of the slam dancing.
Oh, yeah.
So not only do they not hold up, but there is so much of it.
Yes.
Like you said, are they trying to showcase this band and their music? And so we need to see like almost the entire song every time.
Right.
But it's just, these horrible crane shots of this dance and these panning shots of these dancers. And it was too much.
Oh, yeah. Well, way too much. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my most gratuitous. What were your most gratuitous scenes?
Well, I had that as well. I had all the songs, and there were many,
yes.
Right? And it just seemed, and there was only 2 or 3 bands that they just cycled through.
The credits were 2 bands.
Yeah. So they went back from the one band, then the other band was on, then the other band comes back on, and they're going to sing this. And so that was way too much. So that bothered me. That was gratuitous, but all the phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he called to talk to Diane, it was just so horrible. It really took me. It doesn't take a lot to get me out of this film, but that really did. It was so bad. I don't know what the director was thinking. That just wasn't scary.
No.
Like, you're trying to get this person afraid, and even a whisper would have been better than what that voice was.
Yeah.
And then the detective, he's using some kind of voice modulator. Oh, you think? It's glaringly obvious that he's using something. Nobody talks like that unless you're the guy in South Park with the...
Ned.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah. So that was my other one. All the phone calls.
Do you have any other gratuitouses? Any other most gratuitous scenes?
Gratuitouses? I had the scene where he's a priest.
Oh.
And he hits all the bikes, and then they has the chase scene into the drive-in. So I didn't understand why that scene needed to be there. What was that setting up?
Well, he was supposed to go and kill, like he had a booklet with a picture of a nun and a priest.
Yeah.
So either there was a convent in his past, or maybe there was like marriage counseling that divorced him. I don't know. So there was a nun that was a target. And then, he accidentally runs into the bike. Sorry, I'm explaining the movie that you saw.
Yep.
But he runs into the bike, and then I don't know. I think it was just to get another female victim, because obviously he was waylaid from his target.
Right.
So he had to acquire another naughty female. And then there's that like, oh, will he kill her in time? Because he's looking at the clock and like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
I did like the scene where, and I don't know if this is coming up later for you, but they're looking for him and they're banging on his car and they like go to hunt for him. He's like, I'm a man of peace. Yeah. And then stabs the guy.
Stabs him. Yeah. And the guy laughs too, right?
Yeah.
He's like, ha, 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 and then he stabs him and kills him.
So I kind of like that moment, but
I actually did like that moment, but I also liked when they're all speeding into the drive-in and the people who are supposed to be taking the money just let it all go, and she's looking back and forth.
What do I do?
Shoulders up. What's happening? And they just speed in, and then they're hunting down this fake priest, right?
Yeah.
So,
and they drive by his car so many times.
So many times. So I do remember being like, I don't know why this scene is really here. I get that he needed to get to a place to find another victim.
Right.
Because he lost the one that he was going to get. But
yeah, I don't know. Because even when he almost kills her by the bleachers and then the cops show up, it's still unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, oh, good. A woman got away in this movie with 7 other victims.
Yeah.
Like 8 would have been too many.
Yeah. Well, and I love that part where he's finding her and then all of a sudden a cop off screen yells, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And then he runs away. Yeah.
Our next category is terrifying or titillating. Chad, what did you have for this one?
I thought terrifying. The sound effects on the first kill with the door sounded a bit like Friday the 13th, like the Jason, doo. So that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So I did like that. I thought that was a little bit not terrifying. I wouldn't say terrifying. I'd say it was okay.
They bring that back at the liquor store as well.
Yes. Yeah.
When she walks out and you, hey.
Yeah. So they're trying to capitalize on a couple of already established horror films.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it falls short, but it definitely took me to Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
They're just using it.
Yeah. In 1980, audiences might not have been that familiar with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a hit. So most people knew that, hey.
Yeah.
Kill. Okay. I didn't have anything. I mean, I didn't really find the movie terrifying. There was a couple of moments of suspense, but nothing great. And then as far as titillating, no, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Everything was so poorly done. It just was awkward.
Yeah. Even the first scene where he makes out with that nurse, you think, oh, the stereotypical naked scene is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Where she gets all naked and then he stabs her and kills her there. And then she's found naked or whatever. But no. That doesn't happen. And her death scene, when they find her body, is so funny. The way her face is. And she's just kind of... And he stabbed her, but she's got a slash mark across her throat. I don't know. Anyways, there wasn't really anything really terrifying about this film.
All right. We're going to go to Stood the Test of Time. Chad, what did you have for that?
Well, I thought the blood looked okay.
Yeah.
I thought the blood on the knife looked all right. The blood on the bodies looked all right. That's usually one of my main complaints about practical effects in film is the blood looks so cheesy and fake that you can't buy it.
Right.
But this actually didn't look that bad. So I give them props for that.
Okay. Do you have any others?
I do. Do you have any first? Or?
I don't have any. I watched this movie, finished it, and was like, oh my God, I have nothing for Stood the Test of Time, and ruminated upon my viewing and came up with nothing.
All right. Well, I have a couple others. I thought the Nixon mask was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Just the way it was shaded. It looked like the mask had makeup on.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought when the killer came out of the bathroom or the closet or wherever he was,
right, yeah.
and he had the mask on, I thought that looked kind of creepy. That one, the mask kind of stood the test of time for me.
It was just weird that there's no mask until that moment.
Well, and that's the other thing that I didn't quite get is they reveal the killer within the first 5 minutes of the film.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he is there. You see his face. He's not a masked killer. And then he masks up. So they really didn't establish that mask thing very well. He wears it to kind of freak her out.
Right.
And then at the end, the son wears it. And that's where they're trying to get, a franchise going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Myers had his mask. Jason had his mask. This is Derek's mask.
Derek's mask, yeah.
I did think it looked creepy. It just wasn't used very well.
And I guess none of the other killers really knew him.
No.
In his current, the way he looks. And so she does, it's her husband or ex-husband. So if he just walked in the room, she'd be like, oh, it's you. So I guess there is that, a guy with a mask walks in and she's been waiting for a killer all night. So there's that, oh my God, it's him. Oh no, it's just my ex-husband. Ha ha ha. Oh no, wait, it is the killer.
Yeah.
I guess that works, but it was, it was
not very well.
Not very well.
But, I mean, I see what they're trying to do. But again, it's something that could have been a good concept, but just fell short, right?
Yeah.
And my last one was his tracksuit.
Oh, it's awesome.
I love his tracksuit. I want it. The last 10 minutes of the film are the best costume for him.
Actually, while we're talking about that, I don't know if this is test of time or not, but I'll put it into test of time. But I do have to say that Kip Niven, who plays the killer, they actually do a pretty good job of altering his appearance between the different kills. We still know it's him, but when he's got that suit, his hair slicked back and that bad mustache, he does look like a very different person.
Yeah.
And then when he's got, I think it's glasses and the priest outfit. So my test of time is there is a bit of decent disguise work going with this guy.
Yes. Yeah. The fact that he changes in a hallway where there's tons of cops monitoring is a little ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
He's got that chest set up.
Yeah, I know. He somehow got that into the building before. Well, I guess he was there to kill the PA. And so, he
must have planted it then.
Yeah.
But nobody checks that out. They're looking.
Let's sweep the building.
Yeah.
But not that.
Yeah. That floor that he's on is this secret floor that nobody seems to go on. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. We are now moving into our category of eerie to ear splitting. And for me, my first one is we've talked about the number of bands being 2. Mm-hmm. And the lack of selection in their music, I don't know, but we have the opening song that plays over the credits, and then the first live band to perform on the show plays the exact same song. Yeah. So it's just and I think we hear it again in the closing credits. So,
we do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first one. The other one I have is right near the beginning, and I can't remember if it's in the studio, in the building where they're doing the recording, or if it's at the asylum, but we get a bit of that organ that we had from Tentacles.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just oh God.
I didn't pick that up yet. Yeah, for sure.
So right away I was oh, we're on that caliber.
Yeah.
And we were. What was some of your eerie to ear splitting?
Well, again, it's the music. It's the song Dumb Blondes. Yeah. I remember listening to that and just being, what is he saying? And then figuring it out and just, oh my gosh, I can't believe they wrote a song like that. And then it switches back and forth to a scene where the killer's trying to pick up a blonde in the bar. And she's not the brightest
naive
bulb in the drawer, but I mean, anyways, but then it flashes back to them singing this song and I was just, okay, that's bad. But all the music is ear splitting. That New Year's Evil song that we hear 3 times is just horrible.
Yeah.
And all the music in between is just not fun to listen to. No. And it really takes you out of the film and you're just, another one, another one. And that New Year's Evil song plays through the whole first killing. It is the longest. They play that thing forever.
Yeah.
So I didn't really find anything eerie other than that opening scene that I've already mentioned where they're like that one.
Yeah.
Most of it was ear splitting.
Yeah. We'll give them a little more value, say, when they were paying homage to the movies that came before.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah.
Lifted directly from.
Let's just use that.
All right. We're now going to go into our what the fuck moment. And Chad, you're going to start us off with what was your WTF?
My first WTF was this whole story. How the hell is he possibly going to travel through 4 different time zones all over the country and still make these killings happen all the time?
Okay, I've been racking my brain for this entire recording. Was he did he kill in New York, Chicago, and Colorado?
Yes, he was supposed to kill in all those different...
Oh, see, I thought he was killing in California.
No, he was supposed to kill everybody in those time zones. Oh. So when he travels back, so remember, he goes to the tiki bar.
Yeah.
And he makes that line about his watch. I swear, the more expensive they are, the easier they are to break. What time is it? And she says 9 o'clock.
Right.
And he just had previously killed the nurse as they were counting down to New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So he's supposed to travel
cross country
all over the country and kill these people right before midnight and then make it back to California for their midnight killing.
So he kills, runs to the airport, boards a plane, disembarks, kills, run. Oh, okay.
That's what's supposed to happen, but we only ever see him driving, right?
Right. The same car.
Yes. His Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Mercedes. So he's driving. Yeah. Okay. I thought he was just killing in California.
No, the way I understood it is
Jesus
he's
Christ.
supposed to travel all over the country and kill these people before midnight.
Yeah. New York, Chicago, Colorado, California, I think are the 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he's supposed to, right? So he's supposed to get to Colorado and kill them. And again, this is the second time this has happened when they talk about Colorado. The person that was on the TV has a Southern accent. Do they have Southern accents in Colorado? I've never been to Colorado, so I'm sorry. But
no, they're just, it's the typical American accent.
Right.
Yeah. There's no southernness to it. It's
so he said, we're all set up here. I was just, again, because in one of the movies we did before, they were supposed to be from Colorado and they had a Southern accent. And I can't recall exactly, but I remember making this comment before. Why does she have a Southern accent?
Right. Yeah.
So that perplexed me. And then, so that's my thing. It's just impossible. The whole premise of this story I don't think can happen.
Right. Huh. I really broke my brain to make it make sense. So I was like, oh, he hasn't left California, but no, he has. Okay. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. My what the fuck was Derek and the red nylon.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Derek bothers me so much. There's so much because he's coming up in another category or later with this, but
he is the worst.
He gets apart. He's mad that his mother has no attention for him. But again, that's almost a trope where it's like someone is dealing with a very important moment in their life. And it's like, hey, I need your attention. Oh, you don't have time for me? It's like she has 30 seconds to air.
Yeah.
And you want to divert her. It's like, who's the more selfish in that situation?
Yeah. Pay attention to me because I have something to tell you. Well, I can't right now. I'm busy.
Yeah.
But there is a scene where she's got some downtime and she talks to him on the phone and he says, Mom, I have something really important to tell tell you. And all she says is, I got to go, bye.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So she is kind of a bitch to him.
Yeah, and he sits and stews in this hotel room. And then all of a sudden, like, we cut to him with this nylon that he's like slicing with a knife. And I'm like,
yeah,
is he ruining her wardrobe out of vindictiveness? And then he like slides it over his face. I'm like, what the hell is going on? There's like this weird now perversion element to it.
Yeah.
And then later, when she's upstairs talking to the cops and the security about what's going on, he's in the background listening in, and he's got these Geordie LaForge-esque sunglasses on as well. And he just stands there and watches and listens and then skulks off.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be like, oh my God, it's the killer, and then shoot him because he looks like a nut job.
I wish they would have shot him.
But they never speak to or deal with the red nylon Geordie LaForge sunglasses at all. So yeah, that was my big what the fuck moment. Yeah. It's just so weird.
Yes, it is very weird. Anytime that Derek is on screen is a what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
When he's taking the pills. And then at one point she comes in and he's just laying there on the bed and she says, oh, what does she say? She comes in there and says, oh, Derek, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I had a surprise for you, but now I don't want any part of it. And he just takes off.
Yeah.
And just, oh, for crying out loud. And that's the time that we should have been able to see some relationship between Derek and the father, because he obviously loved this guy.
Yeah.
Because in the end, the killer jumps off a building, falls to his death, and Derek is destroyed by this. He goes over, takes the mask off, and hugs this corpse. Right.
Yeah.
And he's really torn up about it.
But it makes no sense.
No. Because there's no relationship there. We don't see it. We don't know what's going on. They allude to it. They talk about it, but they don't show it. And you're just like, I don't get it.
No. Okay. Despite everything we've said about this movie, we are going to now talk about our back it up moments. Yeah. I'm going to start off with what part of the movie I would watch again.
Oh.
And I picked a comedic one, and it's the liquor store scene.
Oh, yeah.
With the woman going in, just because it was like so laughably bad.
Yeah.
And just poorly acted, poor delivery. I almost feel like they didn't have anyone cast and they just got some guy that was working at a liquor store like, can you deliver these lines?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was my back it up moment. Just the mention of the diarrhea, the going in. And then he's like, I've got a bag of marijuana or whatever, however he phrases it. And it's like AstroTurf. Yeah. It's like the fakest green. And then he chokes her.
You should smell it. And it's the biggest bag for the amount of marijuana he has. Yeah. It's just this giant bag. And he's like, I got some real good stuff here. Let's smoke it up. And it's just all falling apart.
Yeah, it's like the fake grass that you get in an Easter basket.
Yes.
It's so bad. So that's my back it up just because it was so terrible. I would almost go for back it up is that entire sequence from the tiki bar to that.
Right.
Yeah. Not because it's great, but it's just laughably bad.
Yeah. Mine is actually in there too, but it's in the car when they're driving and she's ranting. And I guess this could be stood the test of time. The best part of acting is his face while she's talking.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like he wants to stab her now.
He is so full of regret.
Oh, he is just like, my God, why is she still talking? And it is so good. Oh man, I saw that and listened to her talk, and you really want her to die.
Yeah, she's so annoying.
So I thought that was really, really well done. I also had another one that was just with the friend. When she opens up I think it's the cover of the DVD or the poster. When she opens up the dumpster and he lights the lighter and he's like, surprise! And then just grabs her and kills her. I thought that was pretty creepy. Yeah. I did like that. Although you wouldn't take the time to light the lighter to show your face and then kill. It did have a cool eerie effect to it. So I like that.
Yeah, I like that one too.
So those are my two back it up moments on a film that really has no back it up potential.
No. All right, we're now going to go to our hiding in the shadows. Chad, what do you have that sort of didn't fit a category?
Well, mine is with the costumes. We made reference to the costume, but he actually, this is a goof of the film. He goes in and he hits that cop, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got somebody over here, or whatever he says, right? Yeah. And the guy comes and he hits him with a brick and he puts on his police uniform.
Yeah.
The guy he hits with the brick is taller than him and wider than him.
Right.
By a lot. And the suit fits perfectly.
Yeah.
He puts it on and it's skin tight. And I just, what is happening? That doesn't work.
Tailored it instantly.
Yeah, exactly. Took some alterations in. Yeah.
That's good.
That was one of mine.
I had the scene, I just wrote down, how did she come down the slide at the perfect time? So after the 2 women are killed, that he's picked up at the tiki bar.
Yeah.
And then he calls the police to like, you should take out the trash at the corner of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they go and they look. And so you think like, oh, the bodies will be in the dumpster. Nope. And there's a trail of blood that they follow all the way into a backyard. And as they're going through the backyard, he shines his light at the bottom of the slide.
Yeah.
And that's when the corpse slides into the light.
Yes.
Like he somehow rigged it to like, and now drop down. So
that's so funny because I know what they were trying to do there because they do a point of view shot with the flashlight, pretty much that whole scene, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be, oh, wow, that's scary. But it's just what?
Comical. Yeah. So that was one for me. And then the one thing we kind of alluded to the relationship between Derek and his father. And so at the beginning of the movie, when he's there, he's like, no, I'm just going to stay here and try to call dad.
Right.
Because his dad is allegedly in Palm Springs.
Yes. Yeah.
So he keeps calling.
It's always busy.
It's always busy. And so it's like, who is keeping that line occupied? But then we find out his surprise for his mom is that his dad is going to show up.
Right.
So if he knows his dad is coming, why is he still always calling, trying to talk to the dad? And also, why is he upset that his dad's line is busy? So is he hoping that like, oh, dad won't answer, that means he's coming, but because the line's busy, dad's at home? But
that's a good point.
But the dad's in New York, Chicago, Colorado. So who's at the dad's house using the phone for 3 to 4 hours?
Maybe it's a fake number. You gave him a fake number. Just
fake numbering your own kid.
I don't.
I love you, Timmy. My number's 555.
Filk.
So yeah, that was my like, I guess that was a doesn't hold up as well, but it was just like, it led to so many questions.
Yeah. There were so many questions in this film though.
Yes.
How did he get the chest there? How does connecting 2 wires to these screws and then a screwdriver onto this one control an elevator? Like this guy, he hacks into the elevator.
He has to have been elevator repairman in his past life.
Some kind. Yeah. And it is eventually revealed that he was a former patient at the sanitarium. But that is the only thing that ties him to anything as far as the killings go, right?
Yeah.
Because the next one's at the tiki bar and he has to kill 2 people. And why? And then in the drive-in, he just grabs that girl randomly.
Because she didn't get out of the car with it.
I love that scene too. I didn't mention this in my one-liners, but I love when he pulls him out of the car with his switchblade and he says, "Where are the keys? They're in the ignition." And then he just jumps in. It's
well, even the conversation between the guy and the girl before, where it's like the awkward, like, do you want to do this? Well, I don't know.
Yeah. So he's driving with this girl in the back and she says, "Please don't hurt me. Please don't kill me." And then she says, "You can get on me if you want. I won't even put up a fuss or anything."
Yeah.
And
it was so uncomfortable. Yeah. So bad. Okay, we're now going to go into our bonus features. And I got to say, this movie did not lead to a lot. Usually when I'm doing research on these movies, I'll have like 8 tabs and I'll be going through like, oh, that's a gem from this one. That's a gem from this one.
Right.
I really struggled. So I only have 2. And one was a YouTube video where Kip Niven, who plays the killer, is talking about how he came up with the voice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so he was saying like what they really wanted to do is they wanted to use like someone who's had a laryngectomy.
Oh, okay.
So they did want to do like tracheotomy, man. Yeah. And they tried, but they couldn't get the sound right. And so the director's like, well, this isn't working. And Kip Niven's like, well, do you want me to make my voice sound like this? And like, that was the voice they were going for. So like, oh, perfect. So Kip Niven's like, yeah, I came up with this voice. So that was like the one gem behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
So in the scenes, you keep seeing him putting something inside his mouth, which is the tube to let air through, that if someone's had a laryngectomy, that device would work.
Okay.
But it just wasn't picking up right. So they still kept the device to make it look like he was using a voice changer or a voice modulator, but it was just his own vocal cords or straining the vocal cords to get that. That sound. And the other one I had, and this is just something to pull up, Roz Kelly or Diane or Blaze played Pinky Tuscadero in Happy Days. Those are the two things I could find. I couldn't even find reviews of the movie beyond what was on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. So
I did notice that, and I don't know if you noticed this too, but I noticed that the credits will scroll.
Right.
And it's slow when the cast is being revealed.
Right.
And then when the production team and editor and everybody else who worked on the film comes up, it speeds up.
Almost like, please don't show our names.
Yes. Just like flies through. And then when the bands come up, it slows down again. So that was one thing. I also had mainly the things I found were goofs and things that.
Oh, okay.
At one point, the psychiatrist says that the killer is mutilating the breasts of his victims. However, when the bodies of the murder victims are found, there are no injuries to the chest at all.
The one nurse had some slashes at the top of her chest, like under the clavicle,
but they're saying mutilated,
yeah.
Right? And he's just barely, like most of them. Well, the nurse had her throat cut.
Right.
The other two, the one was suffocated.
Yeah.
The other one was killed in the dumpster. I'm not sure. He stabbed her a couple of times. Is that the one that had the stuff on the chest?
Yeah, because she's the one that comes down the slide.
Yeah.
There's a line that I almost wrote down, but I was like, oh no, they explain it. But the police officer's on the phone is like, yeah, he got another one. Same MO. I was like, all we saw was he choked her. How is that the same MO?
Yeah.
There's no MO that's similar between cutting up someone and choking. But then, yeah, when the woman comes down the slide and you see the injuries, it's like, oh, okay.
There's other things like the camera, people's shadows are visible in some shots. There's some production crew that are visible in some shots.
Yeah.
And those are really the big ones. But as far as information, there really wasn't a whole lot about this film. I just think people made it and kind of forgot about it and nobody really cared. We had talked about this before we started our podcast. I was saying how I thought it was a vehicle for these bands that they got up there and they made this movie to showcase these bands and really push them forward. But good God, no, it's just.
I'm not going to lie. I did look on Apple Music to see if they were available.
Oh, yeah.
Just to see like, how do they sound like outside of the film, but it's not available.
They're not even real bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just for this.
Yeah. I looked up Made in Japan and there is a band called Made in Japan, but they're like releasing music in the late 2010s. So,
yeah,
it's not a new wave punk band from 1980.
Made in Japan singing Banzai.
Oh, yeah. That was.
It's like, okay.
All white band.
Yes.
Called Made in Japan.
Okay. Yeah. The 80s.
Yeah, where we triple down on our cultural appropriation. All right, we're now going to place this movie on our watchability scale. And there's parts of me that's like, I don't want to be too harsh, but I can't be nice to it either. I don't think it's a 1.
No.
But it's a 2. It's a solid 2.
Yeah. I'm going to agree. There's just too much going wrong in this film to really give it any higher. At first, I thought I was going to be generous and give it a 4.
That's where I was too, but no.
But I mean, you go back through it and you look at all the inconsistencies and just the poorly done acting and shots. And if you can't take the time to make sure your cameramen aren't in the film, give your head a shake.
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to tighten that up. So I know they obviously wanted a franchise because at the very end, Derek puts on the mask that his father died in.
Right.
And then becomes the killer. And another side note is like Derek is actually a producer still in Hollywood and he's been in a bunch of things. It's
like
not
producing things or he's acting.
He's producing things.
Well,
Yeah. So
there's nothing wrong with production.
his name is Grant Kramer. So he was a producer on Lone Survivor.
Wow.
November Man.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. He was an actor. Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
He was in that though.
He's still out there doing the business.
He's still out there doing it. He's 60 something years old. I mean, he's still doing stuff, but just shocked how kept a career going.
Yeah.
When his acting was just so, and maybe he got better. I've never seen Killer Clowns.
No. But there's also like, if you're an actor and the movies you want to be in aren't being made, but you've got the money, then produce it and the movie will be made.
That's true.
Right. So he might have funded his own career in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't talk about was just sort of the origin of the film, or not the origin, but so this is a Cannon film. It's a Globus and Golan film, and they're known for sort of taking a trend and making movies hoping to cash in on them. So this movie came from, right, you had Halloween, you had Valentine's Day, you had Friday the 13th. So they're like, you know what holiday hasn't been done yet? New Year's Eve. So let's make this. And their movies are always kind of that like one step below or multiple degrees below quality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're staying true to form then.
They are true to form with this one. And with that, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies you want us to discuss. Please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Mike and
Chad.
Scare you later.